It's been a while since I just fucking made up a song on the spot, so here we go. Lazz Lich. Ooh, he is the guest today. Ooh, interviewing him. It's gonna be what I'm gonna do. Yes, in that order. No, I think sometimes it's pee, dry heave, pee, and then I pass out.
Oh.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked is it's an old Jeff Foxworthy stand-up joke. He goes, now remember, it's kneel, hurl, sit, squirt. If you kneel, squirt, sit, hurl, you've done it wrong.
I don't think I've heard that one.
I'm paraphrasing it, but he was essentially saying, like,
better.
don't get it wrong, don't get it wrong.
I thought I'd heard all of this stuff. What was that? You said Foxworthy, right?
It was Foxworthy. I think it was the stand-up special.
Neil Hurl.
Sit, squirt, yeah.
Sit, scroll. 2001. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Collar Comedy, of course, Blue Collar Comedy Tour. I will look that one up.
That's
yeah,
right.
I've not heard that one. I thought I'd heard all of his stuff.
Now you know.
Now it's on the list, Lazz. Ugh. Well, tell me more about this card game, dude. Sorry. I was doing all the sound check stuff, and you're trying to show it to me, and I was like, being a
it's
dick.
fine. No, I was speaking to test the levels.
I guess that's true.
So I found out about Ravenburger does a lot of the puzzles and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that. I had heard that they were making a trading card game using Disney characters, and I thought, all right, well, it's worth looking into. I'm into it. And it's a pretty cool concept. I'm not an expert at it by any stretch, but it's an interesting way of like building off of Magic the Gathering and other kind of card games like that, but keeping like younger kids interested. So the 7-year-old and I are going to try it out. There's a local comic shop nearby that does a weekly league, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, it's fine. You know, there's cool little keepsakes to have, and then they had like obviously like the sleeves are pretty cool.
Oh, damn. No, that artwork's really cool.
The artwork on these are really, really awesome.
Holy shit.
And it's a whole nother thing, just collecting, like, there's alternative artwork pieces for some of these.
Yeah.
And just like any other trading card game, though, I looked up prices and went, of course, the competitive stuff is about $100 a card. And
then you put the name Disney on the box, and that does it.
Oh my God, yeah.
So is it like
Mm-hmm.
Is it like more Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh? Like because if there's a league, it's got to be like not just trading it. There's got to be some combat involved, right?
Yeah. So I would say it's more Magic related because you use some cards and put them face down and use those to tap to create.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, like a form of mana to cast your creatures. See, I'm talking Magic now.
Yeah.
Characters and everything. So that's where my mindset's like, okay, I can get behind this. I can
handle this.
Think of this, yeah. But it's gonna be worth a shot. I'll see what happens. But
cool. Have you guys done some like test combat to see if it feels smooth, or is it like, well, we put our name on it, so it should sell, but the gameplay sucks?
Yeah, what I like to do is I'll play it myself and like draw like a proxy hand and go, okay, how's this going to work? Okay, you do this. Okay, I can see how this could work, blah, blah, blah. And then it's a matter of, okay, how can I explain this to my 7-year-old without her feeling like she's going to fail miserably at this?
Oh, yeah. You get to like rule 5 and they go, you know what? I only had to rule my brain for 4. I'm checking out.
Mm-hmm. It's like when I tried to teach her chess and she was like, what do you mean I have to think like 5 moves ahead? I said, oh no, I should have stuck with 4 moves. 5 is too much.
It's too much. Yeah, I told my kids 2 moves to get them
2 moves ahead.
Yeah. And then if they start getting somewhere. So it's tough to get them to sit down and play chess. But there was a minute there and it was beautiful. After we first moved, I was like, do you guys want to play chess? For like a month every day. They're like, yeah. And it was awesome. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, I think I'm just going to go watch some YouTube. I'm like, oh, that's fine. That's totally cool.
And then you peek in and you see they're watching a YouTube video of chess. You're like, no! You're supposed to be looking for me.
What the fuck are you doing? Yeah. They're learning. They're getting better. Which I'd
That's what they
respect
should
that.
be
If
doing
they're
now.
watching guides on to get better at chess, I mean, I'd be okay with that.
The next time they go play you, they kick your ass. You're like, where did you learn that?
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you a question about chess then, actually.
Absolutely.
Are you a big chess guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I remember forever, chess was obviously, it's a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a game that there are professionals, all this stuff. I've watched some movies that are chess based, and it's super, it's exciting. It's cool. I like getting into chess. I'm not great, but, I can kick my wife's ass, so life is good.
There you go.
So at what point, and this goes hand in hand with conversations we had in the past about there's no casual gamers anymore. Everyone's always sweaty and has to look up everything. Like, I'll play with someone and you just move a pawn once and they're like, the Shikado move from 87 technique. And you're like, what? Huh? It's like everything you do, there's a name for it from some guy from the 90s. And when did that start becoming a thing?
I think because in the beginning of the game, when everything is set up on their original squares, there's only so many opening moves you can make.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to teach, Abby's my 7-year-old. I'm trying to teach her that those 4 squares in the middle of the board, that's what you want to control so that your pieces have open availability everywhere. But then I remember like an old, and I even remember the not production company, the publishing company, Simon and Schuster, had this like pocketbook of like the top 10 like chess games with openings and everything. It was like world champs. And after a while, you saw the patterns. You'd go, yep, that move is this one. I don't remember the names, but you'd recognize them. Go, yep, you're aiming to do this. You're aiming to do that. And you're right. It comes off as like sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, I was just here to play casual. Like, you're like, this is the dragon's defense. You're like, huh?
Yeah, it's like,
I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, you only have 2 options here to do the Tokyo Marui. And I'm like, I'm just moving my knight because it makes sense to me. Like, what?
Right? That's my wife's maneuver. She's like, the knights can jump over pieces. Those are my favorites. So when I take them out first, she doesn't know what to do.
I mean, I get it. They are, like, of the movement-based pieces, they are probably the most fun.
Mm-hmm. And it makes it interesting when the kids learn, because then they learn the queens are all powerful. They can move in any direction, any number of squares. And when I was in middle school, they had me as an assistant in like an after school for like a kids chess club in the elementary school. And all the kids were like, yeah, the queen. Anytime one of these kids lost a queen, they did not know what to do the rest of the game. It felt like they were crippled.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But then if you went and like played again with them and then purposely sacrificed their queen, they had this look on their face like you just kicked them in the nuts or something. They're like, what did you just do? Like, well, I have checkmate in 3 moves, so why does it matter? They're like, oh, like, trying to teach you. It's not all about one piece.
Exactly. Well, and it's interesting that a lot of stuff, and this is a conversation that's been had many a time with like comic books getting super cool, Pokemon being really cool all of a sudden, is like of all the things I never expected, chess is like cool now, which is really awesome. Like I love the fact that all the stuff that you used to get beat up for doing is like cool now. Like it's awesome.
And you know what's helped with that is YouTube has helped with that, and even like Instagram and other social media, because you can scroll through and there's like videos of people that they're like content creators for chess. They're good,
yeah,
but they're entertaining as well. And even like is he the current world champ? Magnus Carlsen? He might be the current champ. I'm not sure, but he has like a tendency to just show up late to his matches. Like that's the flex
I've heard
that
of
he's
this.
got.
Yeah.
It's great. He's just like,
whatever. I can still do this. Yeah.
It's like, I'm the best. And then there was I don't think it was confirmed, but a couple years ago, somebody was accused of cheating. And allegedly, I don't know how this worked. It had something to do with, ready for this one, anal beads vibrating at certain times. I'm like, wait, but what does that have to do with anything? It's a 1 versus 1 game. Nobody else is in that player's head. How? I don't understand. Unless it was someone telling them to don't make that move, so it vibrated and you went, oh, okay, not that
don't
move. Oh, not that move, okay.
Then they're purposely making the wrong move the whole match. Just so it feels good. Yeah. Anal beads, really? I mean, listen.
I think that's what it was.
I had some thoughts of where that sentence is going to end. That was nowhere on my list. is a professional chess player with anal
Let's see.
beads cheating. Like, what?
I'm pretty. I want to make sure I didn't.
I mean, I feel like that's it's so out
Yeah.
there. There's no way you made that up. You know, like that has to be true. It's so weird.
Yeah, his name was Hans Niemann. It was cheating at a chess tournament using wireless anal beads.
So yeah, someone had a controller and was. So how could
Mm-hmm.
we could put a ring on you that vibrates and no.
I think what it was
Anal
too.
beads.
Oh, I forget. It was like a late night show that was doing like bits about it, and they said, "Now watch what he does during an interview." He gets interviewed by, goes, "No, I actually didn't cheat," and then you see him very quickly like kind of squat walk towards the bathroom. You're like, Are you sure? Are you trying to remove something there?
So do we have to check players for anal beads now? Is that part of the prerequisites?
All right. The pat down's gonna happen, and bend over. Got to check for everything.
Well, as a space lawyer, what are your thoughts on checks for anal beads?
I know that in the United States, it's very frowned upon. However, in the interstellar space, you can smuggle all sorts of random nonsense up your arse. So it's a necessary checkpoint. But don't worry, there's special wands used for that. So, and they're cleansed 20% of the time. So
Yeah, that
it
works
should be
out.
fine for the most part.
Should you say like a taken portal is kind of like a bag of holding?
That's pretty accurate. I'd say pretty on the nose.
Okay. So would you be able to theoretically get a small taken portal right over your asshole, therefore to store things?
Not only is it great for storage, but you save yourself on a water bill by not having to flush so often, right? So that taken portal
Valid.
poop through that, and who
Yeah.
cares where it goes? It's like leaving your dog's poop on in someone's yard. Who cares, you know? If it ends up on Mars somewhere, it just becomes a fossil for the next group of astronauts to, eventually excavate and discover.
And be excited about and win a prize about.
Probably win a prize. Like, we found this human poop. What's it from? We can't figure it out. No one has lived here in centuries.
And I discovered it. It's mine.
I'm going to put it in a glass and leave it on my shelf.
It melted. Oh, God, it stinks again. Why did we do this?
Oh,
Well, where did, actually, speaking of the space lawyery stuff, where did all the space lawyer shit begin for you? I feel like I knew you before then.
you
But
did.
almost at the same time feels like you've always been the space lawyer for all the podcasts.
So this ages me basically, and I've had many talks with, like we both know Jay
Yep.
from the old days. So I still text him and some
Me
of the
too.
other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So I just was in the gaming groups. I took a break for a little while once kid number 2 was born, and the late night gaming stuff kind of took a pause because they weren't up as often. And when I came back, there was like a whole suite of new people in Discord. Like, oh, so it's kind of like reintroducing yourself. And I don't remember the exact like conversation or what it was, but within one of the Discord channels, somebody was talking about, oh man, is this legal? Is it not? I don't know. And I chimed in and said, oh no, it's 100% illegal. Oh, well, how would you know? I'm the space lawyer here. I just know shit.
Yeah, dude.
And then it just escalated from there.
So a throwaway line made you
Yeah.
become the official podcasting space lawyer for so many
Absolutely.
shows and in an official courtroom.
And I think that's just how I live my lot in life is I'm usually like, if you imagine a room of people, everyone's having a conversation. There's always those 1, 2, maybe 3 people who are quiet, but when they chime in and say something, everyone else in the room looks and goes, holy shit,
He did the thing.
he did the thing. Or they go, holy shit, the hell's wrong with that guy? Like, but thankfully it went the other way, not that way.
Oh,
but
100%.
yeah. But yeah, it just started as like kind of a throwaway line, and then more and more people just kind of piled on it. More of the newer faces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna roll with this. So now I do occasionally send sound bits into Guardian Downcast. And usually, and this is the problem, I don't write this stuff down. It's usually off the top of my head, which is
Yep.
not ideal, because if you hit like a wall and you go re-record, like, and then it's a whole new thing you record because you didn't write it down. You're like, we'll just roll with it and see what happens. But it's fun because I've got it's my kind of like brand of personal comedy, and it's not for everybody, but if I just kind of let it roll, sometimes it hits.
Yeah,
you know?
the right people like it. Yeah. Well, exactly. And it works out great for you because you've always been such a creative guy who you've creatively written things for many people. Like, you did 100 something ad reads for just some gamers and Guardians and stuff.
Oh man.
You know? And so it's like, it's another way for you to have let your creative writing juices flow, which is good for you.
It's a very good outlet. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Now, doing an actual courtroom session, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is not just sitting down and writing things out, beforehand. It's in the moment, and you're having to just go for it. How was that output different for you? And did you enjoy that? That
was off the rails in such a good fashion.
Amen.
And so I think the thing with that, so like kind of improv to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to see people's faces to get a read for whether you've hit or where you haven't hit. So I like to equate it to like when you're texting in a group or even like email chains, if there aren't like exclamation points and stuff like that involved, you have no clue what someone's tone is. You don't know whether or not like, are they in the mood, like in a good mood or anything like that? But you see, like, there's 9 of us, I think.
Yeah.
And most of our faces were on there. So as I was saying these things, I was kind of watching everyone else to see, like, am I hitting with this, or have I gone? Do I need to cut off because I've clearly, like, it was great. Okay, you need to tail off.
Is it too deadpan? Yeah.
Exactly. And so, like, Bell was one who. I don't think he stopped laughing at either one of us the entire time.
I think his face is
still, he's still stuck with the permanent smile. So I was like, okay, so this is working. Because when I was initially messaged about it, I said, okay, I know my brand of humor for this can get off the rails. It can be a little wonky. I don't know if it's going to work in a long form like this, but let's see what happens. So I was kind of expecting at one point to get like a message while we were recording and go, okay, let's tone it down. Okay, let's tone it down.
Yeah.
Like when I did the Zer bit, that's the part that I was like, this is a risk. But let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, nobody was against it. I was like, let's keep going.
So where did these incredible voices that sounded exactly like the characters come from? Was that an on the spot? And you panicked and made the voice? And I don't mean panic as in like they weren't good voices panic. I mean that in like the best, like, oh crap, something needs to happen and magic flowed. Or was that premeditated?
Oh no, you described it perfectly. It was we're sitting here, camera set up, I'm looking at everyone, and I realized that I had like some stuff written down, but I didn't have any like prop stuff, and I looked behind me. And way up on the shelf, you can't see it on camera, way up on the shelf, I have some unboxed Funkos. And I said, I'm going to use those. So I brought down Zer, I brought down Oryx, I brought down Crota. And then I can't do like bits like that if I'm using a character without throwing some sort of weird voice into it. I just have to. It's just nature. The Zer one was easy to do because he's just kind of an iconic one.
And a tentacle face makes it really easy to have a weird voice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oryx and Crota, you just kind of pick one and just kind of roll with it. Like I could have picked a country western one, but at that point we hadn't established Southern Loyalty. So I was like, okay, I can't use any Southern voices because it's just going to sound too clashy there. But yeah, it was all in the moment.
For anyone who's unaware of what we're talking about, episode 59 of the Blueberry Lounge was a big trial for Native Raider that Sweaty and Spooks has put together as a surprise. He didn't know when he showed up for the episode this was happening. It was a big group of people doing an enormous trial about why he hasn't been playing Destiny and playing in Pal World and other games and whatnot. And it was very in depth, and I had no idea what to expect showing up. And knowing you were there made like the main reason I said yes It was because,
Mhm.
like, obviously you were the other lawyer. I was like, all right. And if Lazz is going to be there, we're in good hands. Like, let's get this done.
Mhm. And like I said, it was you go from doing like what is it, 3 minutes I think you have for a lot of the sound bites you can send. Yeah, it's like 3 minutes that you get a limit on. From going from that to can I do it was like an hour or more. Is this gonna work like because I'd never done that length before and it worked out great.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the setup was great. Um did you go in knowing you wanted to do like a son and lawyer, or
No.
was that just like a son?
Well,
Okay.
when I sat down to do the episode, I knew that's what I was doing. I'd spent the 3 days previous deciding what I was going to do. Was I going to do like Sean Connery? Was I going to do like just like a very awkward, mumbly, super anxiety ridden dude, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was taking a shit before the podcast, as I did before this one. And, and I was like, classic Southern lawyer. We just got to go for it. I think that'd be the best way to go. Well, the main reason I chose that is because if I get stuck, like you were saying, and you start stuttering, that accent, it kind of fits in with it. So I'm like, I can play that really off perfectly with the voice, which I had to do a few times, which was great.
And that's great though, because it's a good crutch to have. Like you said, you get stuck and then you go, well, I do say, I forgot my train of thought. Somebody explain what's going on here.
It fell out of my pocket. I must go find it. Yeah.
But it works because and it was in a comedy sort of a bit. So it's not like out of place and it works perfect.
Yeah. I was so lucky. I turned to look behind me after you did your, eye viewers, not witnesses. And I was like, oh, thank God there's some Destiny characters behind me too. We're saved. I can pull this off. The mailman bear was a very panicked moment. I was like, I don't know what. Look, it's a bear that delivers mail. It's cute. We win.
But it worked out perfectly.
Yeah. That was stupid fun, dude. I'm proud of you. I just want you to know that.
Stupid fun for. I didn't know how that was going to turn out, but it turned out great.
Turned out perfect.
It really did.
Absolutely. Well, going back even further with this, right? Your space lawyer, Lazz, right? Where does Lazarus the Lich come from?
So I've been gaming for years and years and years. I've had many names over the years. Like before I met anyone in any of the Discords, anybody, middle school, early high school, any online personas I had, I was into Dragon Ball Z at the time, so it was always like a Vegeta name.
Yeah.
And then I had I had a choice of football teams because I lived in Virginia, so it was Redskins or Ravens. Screw the Commanders. Oop,
yeah.
Get that right.
Editing point here. Beep.
Yeah. So then like Raven was involved in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Then there was a big break during college where college internet is very terrible in terms of speed and all that. So it's hard to game, at least multiplayer wise. So I was out of gaming for a little bit. When I came back, I was dating my now wife, and we needed to name our internet because that's just what you did. So we decided let's roll with a combo of her last name, her maiden name, and my last name. So we took the first 4 letters of hers, which were Lazz, and then Rich, which is the last 4 of my last name, combined for internet. And I said, I'm going to roll with that.
Yeah.
And then I don't think he's in game anymore, but he's from the old, there's so many podcasts I forget, like Bushman Bob's old podcast.
Oh, Destiny Addicts.
Destiny Addicts,
yes.
Thank you. And oh man, I cannot remember his name, but he was like offering to do, one of the original guys was offering to do like art stuff. So he did one for me, and it was a lich. I said, Genius. Oh, where'd that come from? Yes. And he goes,
wow, I can't believe I remember all this shit. Jesus Christ.
I know, right? It's coming out. And he said, well, I chose a lich because I was having a hard time finding something to rhyme with the rich part. And so then I plugged the lich on there. And so that's where that all came from. And I've just had various versions of Lazz and Lazrich since then. Like Lazz is the one that just pops out because people decided, I guess, oh, Lazrich is too long to say. Let's just cut off the last 4 letters and get rid of it. It's fine.
That's how every gamer tag ends up. Yeah.
Exactly. And my wife thinks it's hilarious. She goes, "See, you should have just taken our last name because you use it for gaming." I'm like, well, whatever.
True people
So
know everything, though. Exactly. Yeah.
it's true. So it came off the internet in a combo of our last names.
So how did you end up being a part of like every freaking Destiny podcast out there? It's just one day you were suddenly. Someone had a quote. It was really. I was going to write it down. It popped in my head the other day, and I was like, "No, I'll remember this quote because it was really good." And it was from like 5 years ago. Totally don't remember it now, but just know it was a great quote that I remember someone talking about you being in every episode of every podcast. But how did that come along? Where you just were suddenly in every community? You join a Discord, and there's Lazz.
Yeah, I love to consume content. So my job, I just switched jobs this year, so I'm more desk based, but I'm more in meetings. So it's not as much listening to podcasts consecutively, which is what I used to be able to do with yeah, I know.
So not so much scientists now.
Right, still like behind the scenes scientists.
Gotcha. Well, then it's a good thing your new moniker is space lawyer, since it's not space scientist anymore.
It's true.
Yeah, that worked out.
Exactly. But I would listen to like all the podcasts while I was like, it was a lot of microscope work I was doing. So you'd listen to podcasts, and so they'd say Discord, join our Discord. Like, sure. And it was the God, I'm getting old. JC Jesse's podcast when it first came out, not Distinguished Gentlemen, the first
Dad
iteration
Tales.
of it, Dad Tales. I was gonna say Just Some Dads. I'm like, nope, that's
No,
that's a combination of two other ones.
Hey, I'm
Wait a
flattered.
minute.
You're talking to
There
a
you
guy
go.
who's been around these a long time too. I'll help you remember these names.
Perfect.
Yes.
But that was the one I ended up joining the Discord, and then got to know them, raided with them a bunch in Destiny and Destiny 2. And then that's kind of where a bunch of the other ones started to kind of like come from. Like you got Guardian Downcast, Guardian Hub. I met you guys, like you, Russell, and Nick through all of those guys. And over time, I was just in the Discords a bunch, and then like would jump in randomly to fill in people's teams, and I was always like that kind of. I always envisioned myself as the weird guy who'd occasionally like chime in and say weird shit, and
Everyone needs one.
everyone needs one. And it eventually, like you said, it got to a point where I think if you name a podcast that's out, I've probably been in an episode, if not a guest, then definitely like with an audio bit involved.
Yeah.
And it's just fun for me. You know, if people are accepting content, I'll send it in, because until they tell me to stop, I'll keep doing it.
Amen, dude.
Yeah.
It's and I get why you do that because, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but there appears to be a curse where if you're going to start a podcast and you have Lazz as your co-host, it's doomed to never make past episode 5. Is this true?
True.
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah. So you can't make your own show. So you got to just keep putting stuff in for everyone else.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're a good bit player, you can't be like. Well, I think like if there had been one where there was like 5 of us, it'd be different. But if it's like a duo show, it just doesn't work out. And I don't think it's for lack of trying. It's just like, I'm sure this happens to plenty of people plenty of times. You go in with a concept for a podcast, you start recording a few episodes, and then you slowly realize, oh, I don't know if there's as much content here as I initially thought there would be. Like one of the ones I did with Jay was about, we did gaming soundtracks.
Oh, I love
and
that
then
one.
But do you see the problem? And like we got that response too from plenty of people. Oh, this is great. Like we had Ben Malone on once to talk about The Last of Us. And it was great to have him as a musician on to talk about that. But then like Jay and I got to talking, we realized, we're never going to talk about like a bad gaming soundtrack, because there really aren't too many out there that you just go, oh my God, this is what they chose to put in with this game.
Yeah.
And we said, all right, well, we'll try a couple more episodes. And we said, you know what? I don't know if we can, like, not that we wanted to criticize, but you get to a point where you go, there's not going to be an episode where we say, this soundtrack sucks. It's going to be, this soundtrack's amazing. And there's only so many times you can repeat the same phrase like over and over again before you go, all right, well.
It created emotions, and I like the crescendo here. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. And like you look at like Guardian Downcast, for example, where they've got such a wide variety of people in the Discord, you can just bring in a guest like every week and it's a different conversation. And like we probably could have tried to reach out to more people for more music-based stuff, but at that point we'd kind of made the decision like, all right, let's put a damper on this, and if we feel the urge to come back, we can try it. But it never really came up. And I think you pointed out, like you said it best, like I don't fit into the role of co-host particularly well. I fit more in as that bit player who comes in every so often. It's just more of my style.
Out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I really enjoyed that show, and I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to ask what ended up happening with that. On paper, like you guys said, it looked like a great idea. And so, yeah, it was really interesting to hear the thought process behind, well, we don't want to just say everything's great every episode, which I hadn't even thought of. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. After 8 episodes of, man, this is perfect. It's like, well, we did it again,
Exactly, yeah. And you just get slowly and slowly lower and lower in minutes and go, huh, that one was 10 minutes long.
Interesting. Yeah. What was your favorite track? That's cool. Well, everyone will find us on Twitter. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and there's only so many times you can say, listen to that crescendo in this scene in the game, and then bam, yes. And you're like, oh, wait, that happens in every game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what was missing. If we had just talked about erections, maybe it would have gone 4 more episodes, maybe.
Well, and I think that's an interesting scale because, like, not every song is going to give you an erection. Some can make your nipples hard. Some can give you goosebumps.
It's true.
Some can make your ass cheeks clap. Like, there is a tier system to this.
There is very much, and the S tier is the one that makes the anal beads vibrate very progressively. Yeah.
We gotta get some chess players on the podcast for that one.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I think that means you guys can start that podcast all over again now that you have, a new idea for a tier system.
It's true.
It gives you 5 more episodes.
Bare minimum, at least. Pull them out of the archives.
Well, I know Destiny got you involved in everybody. Where did gaming? You thought I was going to ask how you got into Destiny. That's a not dumb question. How did gaming begin for one Lazz the Lich, who's been gaming for so long?
I've had a good long time to reflect upon how I got into gaming. At the age of 38 now, I just look back in the past and go, how did I get into this? Why am I a loner? So in our house when I was younger, I don't remember the actual system name, but we had an Atari. And for those of you people under the age of 25, an Atari was one of the OG gaming systems, very basic, and we had like a little tennis game where you could only move on like the top line and then like the service line. That was it. From there, we graduated. We skipped Nintendo for some reason and went straight to Super Nintendo. Don't know why. I wasn't in charge. It wasn't my money.
We all have our own journeys.
Yeah. It's just the way it works.
I went from Sega Genesis to PS2. Like, it was a big jump for me. So, yeah,
right?
It happens.
This is just how it works. And, like, that was the system for a while. Then PlayStation and PlayStation 2 were, like, staples. We never made it to PlayStation... our household didn't make it to PlayStation 3 before I left for college. And then I didn't, when I got back into gaming, because I had a PC for the longest time, that was my go-to during middle school and high school. That's where I really, really got into the multiplayer side of things, the communication side of it. Discord didn't exist at that point, it was all in-game chat.
Oh, in-game chat, or like, did you ever use like Ventrilo and stuff?
Throwback. Oh my God, that just unlocked something weird back here, man.
Yeah.
Ventrilo, that's
There was a video the other day that randomly had the Ventrilo ding sound when someone joined a chat, and I was like, like so many emotions hit.
I was talking to somebody about that the other day, like words that just make you like memories just go.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
So what were you playing then on the old PC during those days then?
I was really big into Jedi Knight, Dark Forces too.
Oh baby.
And then the other one that I played a lot of for multiplayer was Medal of Honor Allied Assault.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was a big one. getting into clans and all that stuff. Um, Up until I went to college, that was my big one. Then because that was 2004, so PC gaming fell off. I had the PS2 with me, so there was a lot of Kingdom Hearts replays because that was a game I had at the time. And then after I graduated from college, I was back home for a little bit, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, I don't want this Xbox 360 anymore. Do you want it?" And that started me to where I am now with an Xbox Series X PC here, obviously still, but the shared office space is more the wife's office now, so I don't game as much in here all that much, but it's like gone. So it's Atari, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 2, and then 360 up to the Series X. But gaming's been in my life since age 4 or 5, I think, is when we had a Atari. I think that sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds pretty solid. Well, what then? Because a lot of people, it sadly happens. Okay, folks. Some people hit an age and they game heavily, and then they just go, you know what? It's not for me anymore. You just randomly like mac and cheese is your favorite food as a kid, and one day some people are like, I don't like mac and cheese anymore, and that breaks my heart as well.
Really does.
What do you think has held you on to having such a love and passion for gaming for as long as you have? It's more common now, but it's pretty rare to be, in our age bracket and like finding people your same age that are gaming.
You're right. Yeah. And I got that sense too when, again, like jumping back into Discords and eventually gleaning people's ages and going, wow, like I'm not ancient, but I'm definitely in the older bracket there. I'm not Gator,
God damn. There's a reason when there's two Gators in the chat. One's Runga and one's Old Man.
That's right. And Runga's not far behind. But,
no, he's not.
What's held it on for me is it's an escape from reality and familiarity. Like, despite the fact that like I have plenty of stuff on the Xbox and the PC I can play, because I've played Destiny since 2014, it's always a good fallback, like a familiarity feeling there. I've got the latest EA Sports, like golf on there because that's a real life passion. And so I can go on to the game and be like, here's how I'd really play,
Yeah.
Real life doesn't show. It's not real.
No. I can afford all the best stuff if I'm in the game. Yeah.
That's right. And then it's the community as well, because you just never know who amongst these, like all these Discords on the left here of my screen. Like if I pop in one, like who's playing, I can just hop into a channel. And even if it's somebody who I've never spoken to before, they go, oh shit, the Space Lawyer's here. I'm like, that's great. I have no idea who you are, but that's great.
We just skipped a massive step in getting to know each other. This is good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see my name has gotten around. Have I been shit-talked enough? Perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
Sense of community and then just familiarity. Like gaming has always been like a safe haven for me. So it's gonna keep its claws into me until like either the kids take the systems and won't give them back, or I mean I don't ever see myself falling out of it, honestly. So.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier being able to hop into Discords here and there and jump in with gaming with whoever. I definitely think, how the online community has grown and Discord itself is a big part of what's kept me in it. Like, I still think even if I wasn't like, streaming or doing podcasts or even listen, because I didn't listen to any podcasts till Destiny 2 launched. I didn't even know it was a thing or that Twitch existed till I streamed the first time. But I'm pretty sure I probably would just be a sweaty WoW player forever. But yeah, if it wasn't for this median of, community, I don't know if I'd be as into it as I am now, because it's just made it so easy to find people in our age bracket or, it's funny how many friends I have that are like 10, 15 years younger than me. And it's just like, well, that's normal. It's not for a lot of people, but it's normal for us gamers, but it keeps you involved and, people are always asking if you want to play and rock and roll, and it keeps you in it.
It really does, yeah. And the 10 to 15 thing, like when you're in like the your early 20s and stuff, obviously then you go, oh, I'm not going to play this game with this like 10-year-old kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
when you're in your late 30s and you like 10, 15-year difference, it's a whole new ball game at that point. You're like, all right, mid 20s, I can handle your stuff for at least a little bit, you know. I'm not a boomer yet, for God's sake.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then you're playing with people that are still 20 years older than you, and you're like, wow, there's
That's
hope for
true,
me
yeah.
yet. Yeah.
Well, sassafras. I knew it. I knew you were in your 60s.
Do you still play Destiny religiously?
Not religiously, no. I'm in at least once a week for the newer content.
Okay.
But in terms of how I used to play versus now, it's definitely toned down a bit more. Like I have gotten to that point where, and this is an age thing too, because you don't think about this. You hit age 30 and people tell you, oh, you're never the same. But the reality is you slowly do get more tired over time.
Tell me about it.
I'm like, those days of being able to stay up until like midnight, 1 in the morning, like gaming away and stuff. Like maybe on the weekends, yes, but when you're like, I have to wake up for work tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
like, but I pop in enough to keep up with story content, and then Discord fills in the rest when like I'll read like Destiny chats and go, oh, so that's what's going on, and it does act as a good kind of reference point. Like, is it worth checking in this week? Is it not worth checking in this week? Like, if there's new story stuff, I'll hop in, obviously. Um, but it still exists in like my daily life. I still do like read stuff about it all the time, but that's more of my consumption now.
Okay.
Like I hopped in today for a little bit, but just to play the story beats, basically.
I heard a quote a couple years ago, and the more people I
Mm-hmm.
talk to about it, the more convinced I am they were spot on and right. And I want to send it your
Mm-hmm.
way and tell me what you
Yep.
think. As
Mm-hmm.
someone who's played shooters for a long time, Medal of Honor, did you ever do Battlefield?
Yeah, a little bit of Battlefield. Yeah.
Okay. Call of Duty,
Mm-hmm.
Halo.
Halo. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me put another K in there because that could have got weird. So the quote is Destiny is where first person shooter players go to retire.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. A lot of the people that are hardcore in Destiny, it's the only thing they play, are people who used
Mm-hmm.
to solely play Halo and Battlefield and Call of Duty. Is there merit to this is where hardcore shooter players go to retire?
It's interesting because I remember, because I'm going to use my personal like memory of this as to lead into this, because when 2014 rolled around, you had Halo 2, Halo 3, all that
Yeah, yeah.
super popular, and then the announcement came out, oh, Bungie's releasing Destiny. Trailer comes out, and it was like, well, how could you not play this? They made Halo. This has to be
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, 100%.
And then the people who stuck around past the initial content lull, I think were, wowed into it, and they were
Yeah.
kept into it. And you're right. There's all these players that were old COD players, Battlefield, or like, this is great. It's first person shooter. And I think once you've sunk so much time into it, it's really, 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 really hard to extract yourself from it. So that's not wrong to say that, like, it is like the game where people go to kind of retire, because with the way that the game has had to evolve over time, with these weapons are too powerful, this armor's too powerful, it can't transfer over, and it just wears you down after a while, to the point where you go, I just don't have like that energy to go and grind for that perfect set of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would agree with that. And I do, it'd be kind of surprising to not jump back into more first person shooters where you don't have to worry as much about, do I have enough in my collection to play this game to the level of the Dados and the Dr. Lupos
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But, and which is another example, like Dr. Lupo was big into Destiny, but he's even strayed out of it. He found a way to unretire, so to speak,
Mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm.
like to get out of that. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine like a player like Data, who's been in every world's first race for raids, ever really like mainstreaming another game and not Destiny? No, probably not. Like, he's gonna retire in Destiny more than likely. I don't know what he did before Destiny, to be honest,
I
but
don't know either. Yeah.
yeah, and that's a point right there. Like, that is his bread and butter. That's his life. So when he retires, that's gonna be it right there.
Yeah, I just thought that was it was one of those quotes. I read it and I was like, oh, that's funny. And like for some reason, it really stuck with me. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I just kept mulling it over and thinking about it. And I was like, yeah, I think there might be onto something here.
And like you said, you've talked to a few other people who've said the same thing. They agree with it. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, 100%."
Yeah,
I could see it.
absolutely. Cool. Okay. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so besides Destiny, which you're not religiously playing, but you're checking stuff out, as a
Yep.
man who's gamed many genres for many years, what
Mm-hmm.
else are you playing these days?
A lot of it is actually more nostalgia stuff. So, um, my wife Lisa is big into uh, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and also Majora's Mask. So we've
Fuck
replayed those
yes.
several times. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the one that I've been playing a lot because I bought it for the Switch ages ago because it was on sale. They released the first three Crash Bandicoot games
Oh
as a
yes.
bundle. And playing it on Switch is weird because you're not used to it in that fashion, and it's proven that my reflexes are not anywhere near as good as they used to be. But like living through nostalgia, like I still remember like most of the levels from it, all the characters from it, and so it's a lot of like nostalgia gaming lately. Um, Actually, we did the one new thing we did kind of jump into was we watched the Fallout show
Oh, that was
on
so good.
Amazon, which
Yes.
is amazing.
Phenomenal.
And Lisa goes, "So is this based off a video game?" I said, "Let's check it out."
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Game Pass had some of them available, so I downloaded and we started playing one. She goes, "Oh my god!" Like, yeah,
It's
they
spot
were
on.
very realistic, spot on.
Yeah.
So jumping into some of the stuff like that, and then the kids are big into like Mario Kart because they think they can beat their dad. I'm like,
Stand aside.
no, you cannot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's been a lot more of nostalgia style stuff. Oh, I did buy it. I've got to get back into it because I've caught Lisa up because she fell asleep while I was playing. I'm like, oh shoot, I got way too far ahead of you. Uh,
Yeah.
there's the big Kingdom Hearts bundle.
Yes.
It's like one, two, and then all of the accessory ones that. And for those of you that don't know this, it pissed people off at the time. Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, PlayStation 2. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, the game that links the two, Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? Making you jump between systems and stuff, but
Was
now
there's
it's
like
all in one
five other
space.
games or something, right?
Oh, it's insane
Yeah, it's nutty.
because it's one, two, and three is the mainstream ones. Chain of Memories falls between one and two. Then after two, there's like I'm gonna butcher the names, but there's like it's like 367 slash 2 days, which has to do with the Organization 13. Decoded is another one that's more. I think that one's actually a mobile one, a mobile game. And then there's just so many different story bits, and even Lisa goes, "This is too much. Just explain it to me, or I'll Wikipedia." And I'm like, "Yep,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't blame you."
I'll
Um,
watch a 10-hour Bife video on the lore of Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Oh, yes, there you go. But we've been playing our way through that, and the kids have watched because again, it's Disney, so they're all about like, why isn't this one in there? Why isn't that one? Like, future game, one at a
It's
time.
coming.
Hold
It's
on.
coming. Yeah.
Where's Toy Story? That's in Kingdom Hearts 3. You've got to wait a long time for that
A
one.
long time for that one. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of the gaming I've been keeping myself up with now.
Nice. Well, with
Mm-hmm.
the Banjo Kazooie stuff, I had a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Many Banjo games, right? It's been
Mm-hmm.
remastered many times, apparently beloved.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why have we never had remasters and such of Croc?
I don't know.
I
I really
preferred
don't
Croc
know.
over Banjo Kazooie, and it makes me sad.
I think that's somebody made a decision somewhere in an executive boardroom. They had them all laid out, and they were like, okay, there's Banjo Kazooie, here's Croc, here's A, B, and C. We'll go with Banjo Kazooie. Why not
Yeah.
Croc? You don't need to know the reasons why. We're going with this one here. It's like,
Somehow,
oh,
even Spyro has gotten less love than Banjo Kazooie, and that
I
blows my
cannot
mind
believe
to this
that.
day.
It makes no sense. Like,
No.
that was like, besides Crash, you also had, yeah, Spyro was PlayStation. So you had like the two of them and a smattering of other characters were like the Mario competition,
Oh,
basically.
yeah.
And I could have sworn that there was like more remakes or something in the works or something,
And then
but
they got canceled or something. Yeah. It blows
canceled
them.
or something.
The amount of hours I spent at a Walmart looking straight in the sky, hurting my neck, playing Spyro,
Mm-hmm.
because they used to
Oh
have the
God.
demo TVs were like 9 feet in the air. I don't
Yeah,
know if you
instead of
recall that.
eye,
Yep.
freaking eye
Oh
level.
God. Ouchies. That's probably why I have neck problems now. Is just hours. Mom's going shopping. I'm just going to stand here and play demos at Walmart. Yeah.
It's the sort of things you don't think about when you're that age. You're like, no, this will be fine.
Yeah.
It's like my son looking at his tablet like this. And I'm like, dude, nope. I'm telling you right now, that's gonna screw up your neck right there. Leave it up here, my God, because you're not thinking about that at that age.
No.
But
No.
now,
Oh, dude, and it randomly will just hit me. I don't know. It's rough. Well, speaking of the Switch, we couldn't have an episode of this with me and you without discussing a very historic moment in Elmer Fudd Tournament's history. I think you know where I'm going with this. Picture this, folks, right? Competitive. Apex Legends. One of the peak Battle Royale experiences. The skill ceiling never ends. Okay, people are continuously getting better and better at this. Hosting tournaments, shoutcasting, getting plastered. Did like 30 something of them, right?
yeah.
Lazz jumped into a few. Incredible. My man decides he's going to do one on Switch. I think he ended up by yourself. And he's like, hey, I'm going to stream this. It's going to be incredible. Okay. Come stream day, he finds out he can't get the gameplay to stream. So he has a phone streaming on Twitch while it's recording the TV, and there's no audio on anything. And Lazz is in a onesie of some sort of animal, jumping in front of the screen, doing bits, silly voices. But again, no audio. It was probably the most entertaining thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's jump into that. What was the thought process?
So I'm an asshole, and I like, and it's a Stitch onesie I had, and I was like, you know what's going to be hilarious? I'm going to be on camera. I'm going to wear this.
Yeah,
it's going to be stupid, but I'm going to do it. It's entertaining. And as you pointed out, I did all the prep work trying to get ready to like film this, and I go, oh crap, the Switch doesn't have any. You can't run Twitch off the Switch or anything like that. So like, all right, that's not going to work. So then I had a laptop set up on the bed behind me here, and I was like, okay, I got to angle this at the TV. Okay, I got a camera set up. Okay, and I tested the audio, and the audio was fine. I heard it in playback. I recorded. I'm like, okay, this is great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Somehow, and I cannot figure it out now because I'm going through my brain thinking about it since you brought it up. I don't know what changed between me testing it. I guess the system went into sleep mode for a bit till we got started up, and then for some reason the setting was just like, you don't need audio.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Who needs that?
So I didn't know until I think I had the desktop on, so I was occasionally peeking over to see what everyone was saying. I had you guys up on stream, but the volume was down.
Yeah.
So I eventually looked over, and I think I had a message in Discord or something you guys had sent me, and we were like, it was in my Twitch channel. You guys had typed and said, there's no audio. I'm like, damn it.
Because you were dancing, your lips were moving like a million miles an hour. I was like, whatever he's doing, it is funny as fuck. No idea. Yet still funny as fuck.
And I think it was like the peak of it was towards the end where I had like a 3-kill match on Switch. And I'm like, oh my God, 3 kills. Oh my God. And then nothing came out, obviously. It was just like an idiot in a Stitch suit dancing around. But I don't have like a premium like streaming setup or anything. So I knew it was going to be low-key ridiculous, but I didn't think it was going to look that ghetto or jankish.
The fact that everything went wrong made it so perfect, though. Like you could not have tried to make that funnier. Like if you'd planned it wouldn't have worked. The fact that everything went wrong made it so good.
I think you're right too, because if it had worked out the way that I had intended to with audio and stuff like that, it would have been fine, I think, too.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was audio-less, I think you've got all these other Twitch channels going. Everyone's communicating. There's like camaraderie. And then you switch to this guy, and you can't see me because the camera's pointed at the TV. So
sometimes you jump in front.
TV.
Yeah.
Sometimes I jumped in front. And then looking at it, I knew that the quality was terrible because it's switch graphics on a bigger TV. Doesn't look great. I'm like, it's fine, whatever, it's fine. And then just the fact with the audio out, because I went back and I watched the shoutcast. I'm like, oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
Well, the best part is we'd be watching a team that had like really good gameplay. Like they're winning the game. They have a ton of kills, and chat would be like, "Can we go back to Lazz? Like I'm bored." It became part of the thing, man. It was great.
And I'm the type of person that has to like, in those moments, like even on ones I think I played on PC in several of those tournaments too.
Yeah.
And in those cases, the audio obviously worked because someone else was streaming. And I still had like the Shoutcast channel up because there's always that modicum of me that like I'm always acting like a goofster. But if I know the camera or that like channel's watching us, I'm more like, okay,
it's time.
More like an idiot.
Yeah. My time is now.
And that's why, like, when you saw me jumping in front of the camera, I didn't do that for a lot of the stuff. If you guys weren't on me, I was like, oh, we're gonna try to like pay attention. But when you guys had jumped on it, I was like, oh, people need to see my face. Hold on, like jumping around, and then doing that for 10, 15 minutes before I saw the message that no, your audio's off. I'm like, it's fine, whatever. So. You create iconic moments not because you're trying to do something on purpose, but because something else just goes wrong and it just works out.
Yeah, iconic is the right term, man. That is in the history books of FUD tournaments forever, and I'm proud of you.
Hell yes.
I just want you to know that. Well, yes. Before we jump into Discord questions, there was one more thing I wanted to touch on besides you.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about gaming earlier, you talked about you mentioned playing golf games because that's something you play IRL. And I really try to get more into IRL hobbies as well because we all game. Obviously, that's why we know each other. And your fits are one of my favorite parts of you playing golf is getting all the pictures of your fits because they're incredible. But how did golf get into your life? Is that something your family played or through work, or how'd that come about?
So, like, I currently live in New York. Used to live in Virginia with the family. When I was in Virginia with the family, my dad signed me up for a couple of junior tournaments, which you showed up, you walked, I think, like 3 holes or something like that. Not a full 9 or 18. And it was fun, but you couldn't really compete with the kids from like the gated communities whose parents had like tons and tons of money for private lessons. Yeah.
They drove a golf cart to go to McDonald's and
Oh, absolutely. So once I moved up here, my wife's parents had a family friend who's there's a bunch of them that like work for UPS. Sorry, not.
It's okay.
Gotta bring in the
as long as it's not FedEx, we're fine.
Nope, not FedEx. Don't worry.
No one likes them.
No one likes them. So he used to work for UPS, retired, and he was into golf. And I had a set of clubs, and he goes, "Hey, we need another person to play." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not great. I can hit it, but..." And so started playing with them, him and a few others, and I slowly realized, like, I can get into this. Like, I want to get better at this. And with the job that I have, and the way like the scheduling works, like it used to be based on like sample load comes in, you do it, and then in the intermediate time you're doing like administrative stuff and all that. So I found out that there was a driving range about 5 minutes from work. Like, all right, so I'll drive over and I'll just work on the mechanics and everything and get the feel of it. And it went from the family friend constantly beating me to us on even terms to now he can't get anywhere close to me now in terms of scores. Like he lives in the Bronx, or no, he doesn't live in the Bronx. He plays in the Bronx for the most part. And the first time I played on the same course he's played on, he'd been hitting in like he'd been scoring in the mid 80s, and he shot an 83 that day. I played with him. I shot an 82. He goes, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you've never played here before. I've played here every week." I'm like, "Sorry, I don't know what you want me to
say.
you.
I'm just better, dude."
You lit the competitive fire in me.
I'm built different.
I'm just built different, yes.
Yeah.
And it's been a fun hobby. Like I've got a set of clubs that I'm never gonna have to. It's too expensive to update those stuff
Oh,
every freaking
absolutely.
year. It's nuts. But like I've got a good set. There's a social league that's again only 5 minutes from here. So when I have the time to do it, I get out and do it. And like it's also one that like yeah, everyone likes some me time every
Yeah.
so often. And when the pandemic came around, one of the first things I don't know about out west in the mountain time range and all that, but out here when they started to open things up a little bit, golf courses were the first thing to open because I went, oh right, we're outdoors,
Yeah. We can beat it. We can
duh,
do this. Yeah.
yeah. And with the way my like I consider myself lucky because the way my work worked out was they wanted us separated. So they said, all right, each one of you is going to come in 1 day a week, but you're still getting paid for the other 4 days because we're in a union job and the union wasn't going to let that,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know, let that go. So I would go into work for 1 day a week and then like twice a week I was going out to a golf course and just playing a round of golf. And it got to a point where I was consistent and now I'm just you work on like mechanics over time. I'm on YouTube all the time. Like, what can I learn today?
Yeah.
And then the outfits are just what make it because like the outfits are ones where I say like I want to be able to like stand on the course and have someone like 3 holes over look over and go, who the hell is that asshole over there in that outfit? Like
Yes.
that's me. But it's a fun hobby. I've met a lot of people through it, and it's one where you can have good casual conversations out there, have a beer or two, and
Yeah.
just have a good time.
So is it more the competitiveness? That's a tough one to say. The
Right?
competitiveness of it that's kept you rock and rolling in it, or is it more the social aspect that's kept you playing for as many years as you have?
It's a mixture of both. So I like the social aspect because I haven't played a single round with strangers that haven't or wait, I've played rounds with random people before. What I
Hmm.
meant to say is none of them have been assholes. Like those types of people are like, oh God, like why do you have to be a dick about this? We're all here to have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Look at this guy's swing. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Like, oh, have you thought of getting lessons? No, because my money went to this to be here.
Yeah.
Um, but the competitive side of it's good too. Like the every year since 2020, we've gone to a summer house, and it's been myself, my two brother-in-laws, and father-in-law. We eat and we play around golf, and it's gotten to a point now where it's just a matter of them saying like, how low is John going to go today versus us sitting in the hundreds. And like my brother-in-law Mike has played, he's 10 years older than I am, so he's played 10 years longer than I have.
Yeah.
And like he beats himself up constantly, hits like bad shots, and then I go and blast when he goes like, this is bullshit, man. And it makes me sound like a dick for saying it, but I get pleasure out of it. I'm like, that's right. That's right.
Learn your worth. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like what was it? Yeah, I played with them yesterday because they needed somebody to a fourth person, and I hit a good shot off the tee, and we finally get up to mine, and it was my brother-in-law and his brother, and they go, it just took us 4 shots. You still haven't hit your second one. I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, sorry,
My
sorry
bad.
that I've put on this muscle.
I mean,
So
you are looking pretty good these days. I'm not gonna lie to you.
it's I realized so when you don't play like a sport professionally, you try to kind of guess at what you need to be more fit with. Like so,
Yeah.
you see, like there was a guy that I played randomly with 2 years ago, and he was like built like these guys who lift at the gym and everything. And when he was hitting, he could hit it long, but it was all over the place. So he was constantly in the woods, like hitting out. I'm like, okay, well, hitting long is good. You want to hit a long distance, that's great, but you want it straight, obviously. And so once I learned that it's not all about like the upper body and stuff, like it's great to have that, it's good extra, but it's all core. Like a
Yeah.
lot of sports are core. And so once I started focusing on that more, and then you just kind of get out of that. Like you have to stop caring. Like, am I going to lose the ball? Who cares? Whatever. Like you just start swinging away, and it gets to a point where you don't need to be a bodybuilder. Like you see some of these guys who won in like the '90s, like they were like dad bod guys.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
you're like,
smoking cigars and drinking the whole time and
oh
killing.
man, like John Daly is
He's
what
the man.
everyone would love to be. Yeah,
He is the man. Was it like 30 Dr. Peppers a day or something like that? I don't remember what.
oh god, something nuts. It was hitting teeing off of beer cans instead of a tee because it could.
Yeah.
Dude is just he's a
Legend
legend.
status. Yeah.
He really is.
Do you prefer courses where you're living now or where you used to be?
The ones here are nice.
Yeah.
They've done the ones down where I used to live. They weren't bad either. My dad said they've fallen off recently, but that's management changes. You know, they have different priorities, so they're still open. But I haven't played those ones in a while. It would be nice to go back and like check them out and see if they do still hold up or if they've kind of fallen apart over time. You know, but the ones around here are nice. There's one like 2 minutes from me, so
Oh, that's super nice.
yeah, it's super nice and it's always in good condition, which is nice. You don't want to go out and play like off of rocks and stuff. So,
Well, someday I will learn to play so that I can play with you and Cheesy. That is something we planned years ago. I promise that someday before we die, it'll happen. And if one of you are dead, I will bring your corpse with.
that'll make a great photo.
It would make a great photo.
Well, I will tell you that I don't know if I've told you this before. My bucket list is to play a round of golf in all 50 states.
You have told me this, yes.
I have told you that. So now, when I told you that you were still in Colorado, you've now shifted to Wyoming. So therefore, I will have to hit up Wyoming at some point.
You will. That's true. And apparently we have some pretty solid golf courses. Not something I expected when I moved up here.
I know, right? Like,
yeah. But everyone that
wouldn't think,
golfs up
like,
here
yeah.
is like really fond of the local course in town here. So, and I drove by
though.
one. I just drove home from Denver today, and I saw a couple in Cheyenne that I was like, not knowing anything, I was like, wow, those look really nice. So you have options, man.
That's what I like to hear right there.
I mean, golf's huge no matter where you go. So like, there's going to be something.
True.
So we'll figure
And
it
like
out.
like you said, we'll pluck Cheesy from wherever he is and plug him in.
Yeah. Well, that you get 3 states out of me for that at least. I'll go to Iowa for Cheesy. I'll go to Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go to Colorado and do Wyoming. So that's 3 states you get out of just me.
And I need those 3 states.
It works out great, man.
Exactly.
So we have very different goals. My goal is to go to the best breakfast place in all 50 states.
Ooh, there you go.
And
I
yours
like
is to go golfing. Very different ends of the spectrum here.
very different, but I'm gonna show you this real quick. I don't know if you
let me
can
see
see
this.
it or not.
It's his penis.
It's not. Is anything showing up?
It
Oh,
froze while you turned it.
Oh no, I screwed it up. Oh no, wait, you know what? Because it thinks something else is going on. Hold on, don't switch. It wants to
no
switch
worries.
my audio input.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, what did it do? I may have unplugged it. Shit.
That could be. Yeah, it's just frozen looking at the ceiling. But I mean, the wall texture, beautiful. I like the color. Is that a wood frame going along the top, or is that just the blur?
It is quite a wood frame. What I was trying to do, which is unfortunate that this didn't work out, so I have a bulletin board in here with a map of the United States, so I can put pins in each state as it goes along. And apparently, me trying to pull the camera up, it went, no. What are you trying to do?
You moved it too fast. I can't do this.
I'm so sorry.
My favorite part of technology is it works no matter what you're doing. You know, you can always depend on technology to work 100% of the time. We said the week of an outage.
Oh God, yeah, right? No freaking kidding. All right, that's whatever. I somehow killed the camera.
I know. Now I can't look at your beautiful face, buddy.
You gotta just imagine it. That's what it is.
I know, but it was so much easier to talk when I was looking at you, not your ceiling.
I can't. I know, right? What the hell happened to this freaking thing?
Here we go. Hey, we have a logo. Are you still with us? I think we lost Lazz. His box is turning green, but I'm not hearing him anymore.
Oh my God.
Oh, I hear him again.
There it goes.
Okay. That's one
Every
step.
time every time I plug in the camera, it's like, do you want a new audio device? Like,
Like,
no, no, I
no,
don't want that as a new audio device.
I do
I
not
don't
want
know
the
why.
webcam to be the microphone.
That's okay. I'll keep playing with the settings. We can continue. I'll
Okay,
figure
we'll
it out.
continue. No worries, no worries. So there we go. We'll get breakfast in 3 different states and we'll play golf together. How's that?
Hey, there we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ready, do you want to hit some Discord questions, baby doll?
Let's do it.
It's time. There's some solid ones in here. Ooh, okay. There you are. Hi, Snookums.
There we go.
Oh, you're so handsome.
Stupid technology. Oh,
I
thank
hate
you.
it.
Are you sure that's not this guy you're looking at, though? This guy in the chest here?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was. For some reason, when someone's camera's turned on, I immediately look at their chest. So that makes sense. And I'm going to stay looking down there. Sorry.
It's perfect.
Yeah. First question coming in from Admiral Nips.
Mm-hmm.
Lazz, got yourself for cheesy on the links? What about in the fashion game?
I was trying to decipher what that question actually meant.
I was hoping you had a better idea what on the links meant, because I had no idea. But obviously, I mean, you two posted pictures head to head constantly of the fashion game, which you haven't this summer, and it's broken my heart. It's my favorite part of last summer. So throwing it out there. But yeah, who do you think's got a better fashion game? You or cheesy on the golf course?
It's honestly tough because you're right. You know, usually I'll have posted something like a photo of myself and then cheesy responds or cheesy posts and I respond. I respect cheesy's fashion game. I'll be honest with you. It's pretty next level.
It's pretty solid.
It's pretty solid. So let's see. Oh dear Lord, I had one I was just gonna like throw up in the chat there real quick. Oh, here we go. Let's see.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Done.
Staring
Select.
intently.
Oh, it's not in the chat. Actually, oops, I put it in. Get on in here. That's the wrong one.
Oh, that's okay. I'll look at it there.
Okay. So that's just an example of one right there.
I like that, like baby blue with the little ink spots all over the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Different colors. I bet that material feels really nice. Breathes well. 51
Surprisingly
strokes hat.
good, yes.
It makes your eyes pop a different color.
And that's what I've really like. A friend of mine was like, I was talking to her about it. Like I said, you know, I take these photos like for, like I do it on Instagram for like, my Instagram is as far as the eye can see because that's what the bulletin board says. And I'm like, I don't know if this photo looks great. So I'm always very self-critical. And then she'll say, well, like what you just said, and you go, oh, well, no, it makes it pop differently. And then I would look at it and go, you know what? I didn't notice that on the first look through because I was too busy going, I look like shit.
You never look like shit.
But yeah, I like the fashion side of it because you go out to these golf courses and you just see the same white shirts, black shirts, blue shirts, and like there's so much variety out there. Like, gotta spice it up a little bit.
It's not stuff you'd wear day to day because it needs to look special, right?
Yeah, I'll occasionally wear like a wild one for like work because polos are pretty much like the go-to for everybody at work, at least on the male side of it. So I'll wear like one of those shirts every so often. People go, aha, there he is.
This guy.
Like, yep.
There he is. I see your true colors.
Where's asshole number 1? Ah, yes, there's the shirt over there.
That's
Found him.
Me. Well, next question coming from Blue Laser. I think I'm going to ask the first 4 as one part, then the 5th one as its own thing, okay?
Yeah.
What kind of space lawyer are you? Do you deal with spaceship crashes, asteroids, divorces between different species?
So, a long time ago, there were 5 different branches of space lawyership. However, that gets confusing after a while because unlike Earth lawyers, it's a lot more complex. It's a lot more dirty. There's a lot of stuff going on. So they make sure that the space lawyers can do everything, not just like space divorce or space domestic disputes or space trash. I never figured out which one that was. I think that's Panda's court. We'll let Panda figure that out.
Amen.
Yeah. But let's see. In terms of crashes, spaceship crashes, they happen. The lawyers don't get too involved in that because generally speaking, after a spaceship crash, usually both parties have been spaced and are dead. So there's nobody to really represent there.
It's up to the insurance claims, yeah.
It's up to the insurance claims, or they just let them drift into the void. it's fine. And if if the deceased owes on a lien or something like that on their spaceship, then we'll let the space mafia deal with that. That's their
Yeah.
ball court right there. Asteroids, they are notoriously hard to predict, despite the fact that they move in an elliptical pattern. And yet, for some reason, people keep crashing into them. So we attribute that to space vodka, which is about 100 times stronger than Earth vodka. Big problem right there.
Oh, I miss space vodka.
So good and so bad at the same time.
So bad. As time went on, it just got worse and worse and worse.
Which is why I stick to space gin. Space
Amen.
Gin.
Divorces between different species.
Divorces between different species. Well, it gets messy. Tentacles definitely get involved way too often on that one.
Valid.
Yeah, very valid. And it's created some issues in terms of, the child care and the parental rights and all of that, because you've got to do a bunch of DNA testing, because it's such a wide open space out there. There's a lot of mixed breeds of space and all of that, and the DNA pools are deep, and it creates a need for space lawyers to come in and try to separate all this chaos and try to figure out, like, are you sure you're the actual parents and you didn't just pick up this kid on an outpost somewhere?
Valid.
And for some reason, divorce between different species, I don't know why, but interstellar potatoes always come involved, and it's always an argument between sweet interstellar potatoes and Earth 34 Idaho potatoes, which are clearly inferior to Earth 32 potatoes, but nobody listens to shit, so there you go.
Huh. Well, to add an extra question here before I hit her final one there, what is your favorite case to be involved with as a space lawyer? And it doesn't have to be just the ones aforementioned, what's your favorite case to get involved in?
I would have to say that my favorite case to get involved in is whenever the cosmic cubes are involved. The cosmic cubes just kind of float around. They pop up when they want to. Well, those are the quantum variety, and people just keep trying to sue them over and over again. And just like they try to sue companies like Bungie and all this, and you can't sue a cosmic cube. It's always on the move. I can never get them on the witness stand, because even when they're there, they just shift through the floor randomly, because that's just how they operate.
That's how they roll. Well,
that's
don't
how they
roll very easily.
No, they don't roll. You're right. Oh,
yeah,
that's terrible. I'm going to hear about that later from them. Oh,
sorry about that,
buddy. We don't roll.
I'll edit that out.
Slowly flip over.
Yeah.
And some of them aren't even six-sided, so I don't know why they're called cubes. I think it's just a long-running thing. They're more like tetrahedrons.
Cubes rolls better off the tongue, so it makes sense. It keeps things.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it keeps things on the course.
Besides, if you start saying cosmic tetrahedrons, it really gets people's brains working in a way that when you're in outer space and the air on these space stations is just thinner, a lot of aneurysms with that. And it's great for my casework and then for Agnes Edna, she really likes to look at the crime scene photos of that for some reason. I don't ask.
Well, and it sounds very similar to tentacles. So I could see how in a court of law there'd be a lot of having to re-explain what you said and how it's not the same as the other. And I'm sure that gets exhausting. So it makes sense, man. Stick with cubes.
Why does your client have 9 tentacles when they identify as an octopus? Like, I don't know. I'm not in charge of the rules. It happens.
Exactly. Well, then how do you feel about Earth lawyers?
Minus the Southern lawyers, because they just know what they're doing. Most of them are shit. Earth lawyers just don't know what they're talking about. They have no clue what happens in the rest of the galaxy, and I wouldn't expect them to, because they never leave their home planet. But, I suppose they have a use for some of the menial cases that us space lawyers just don't have the time to deal with, especially on the Earth soil there. So they have some benefit, I suppose.
Yeah. It's just so bland, dude.
They're very bland.
It's just like one species. Come on.
Exactly. Come on.
A few questions for Mr. Beard Grizzly. First off, who's your daddy and what does he do?
Well, my father is a retired periodontist, which means
Oh,
That
he was a
he
parachuting dentist.
oh, I wish that would have been great.
Okay, okay,
Oh,
okay.
as I work on you in the air. Hold
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
hold
yeah,
still,
yeah.
hold still. Oh no, oops. So he did specifically gums. So he was a dentist, but he specialized in gum work,
Oh, okay.
which is great in terms of learning to brush one's teeth. Not so great because he always had Novocaine in the top drawer in his bathroom in case he had a tooth that wasn't quite loose enough. Well, guess what? Let's go.
I can handle this.
So weird. That is my daddy, and that is what he does.
Perfect. What kind of cases have you tried in space? What universes and how do you universe/dimension hop?
So universe slash dimension hopping. So that's the brilliance of this. So being a space lawyer, you don't have to travel anywhere. The interstellar courts are all in one spot, which is great.
Oh, that's
Uh,
super convenient.
it's super convenient. And like I was saying on the Blueberry Lounge, in terms of sending information, there you've got space ravens, which are very fast. Um, their method of travel is actually very much like taking portals, except it's a little more direct. You
Hmm.
actually know where they're going for the most part.
For the most part, some of them get
For the
lost
most
along the
part.
way. It's brutal.
Which is exactly why I haven't gotten paid from Guardian Downcast
Oh,
in a
of
while because they
course.
snail mail everything. So,
Checks in the mail, you're beautiful. Don't ever change. I've heard that before.
and you know, Earth snails are so space snails take millennia to
Ugh.
travel. So it's awful. So no, we rely on our transmissions and we rely on space ravens to do all of our travel for us.
Good. If you've done any work in the Destiny verse, why didn't you shut down the witness for being a crybaby poo poo putt?
Here's the thing. So the witness was notoriously absent from the scene for a very long time. By the time the witness showed up, I was just neck deep in space women. I mean cases um, that I just didn't have time to deal with his or her or its nonsense. Plus, when the witness sprouted all those arms, I was like, I deal with this tentacle stuff all the time. I don't need tentacles with hands on the ends. I don't need any of this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm a space lawyer. I got to get paid. Who's going to pay me to take out or deal with this sort of creature of the darkness? You know, I'm a creature of darkness. Do I want somebody to come and just kick my ass? Preferably no.
No,
So
unless you're into
I
that.
can't. Depends on the day of the week.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, right, going against a witness as a lawyer, it's kind of a lose lose. Because if you lose the case, everyone's mad at you for allowing them to get away with things, right? But if you
Yep.
win, something as powerful as the witness is going to find a way to hurt you for it. It's a lose lose. You were smart not to get involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to pick and choose your
Exactly.
cases. Good for you, man.
There you go.
Coming in from your fashion nemesis, Cheesy, with all of the interstellar crime, how do you find time to play games?
Well, you see, it's kind of like when you're on Earth and you go and play a round of golf, as Cheesy would, and you see your local lawyers out there. It's the middle of the week. They're playing a round of golf. I don't know why Cheesy's out there playing a round of golf either. It's the middle of the week. Should be working.
Amen.
But you wonder like what they're doing. Well, it's the same thing here. Like you do your casework, you show your face a little bit to make sure that the judges know that you do still exist, but you use your paralegals, you use your assistants to do a lot of the legwork there. So it allows you to play games, it allows you to do your hobbies and all of that. A good lawyer always knows when to be present in court for the cases, especially opening statements and closing statements, and any witness questions, and then the rest of it just have your underlings do it for you.
I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecutor or defender?
I dabble, baby. I dabble in both. You can't just pick one lane. You gotta be willing to go both ways down that street. You gotta
Which one do you prefer?
Oh, I prefer the defense because it's always more fun to find creative ways to take the blame off of your client and somehow shift it back to the other people, even though There's no way they did it. But you're a slime ball as a defense lawyer, so you don't care what they think of you. You're just like, I'm getting paid at the end of this. I got my client off, and now your client's in trouble. They didn't do anything, but you know what? I did my job.
Good for you, man. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta have the term in your head before you start a sentence, and then stick through that sentence with the term in order to progress the series of conversation in order to have a laugh together. You know what I mean?
This is where the Southern accent would have come in handy there.
I say, but the problem is I still can't think of it. So I would have been saying, I say, you'd have to put some rap rhymes over it. I say, you know, forever, dude.
As a side note, if you haven't seen the SNL bit of, is it Main Justice?
Oh, yeah. When he kisses him on the arm after Jamie Foxx cracks. Yeah.
That's right. There be gators here in Maine. Huh? Anyways.
It's so good. Beard Grizzly, again. What are your feelings on this man right here? And it's a picture of Rex from Mass Effect.
Every show, every movie, every video game has to have a character who very much just speaks their mind, who very much just asks the pointed questions that all of us are thinking, but no one's willing to ask. And I say that because we've recently rewatched the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies where Drax just says whatever he wants. And when Lisa and I played through Mass Effect last year because she hadn't played it before, and you come across Rex, and I think she was the one who made the comment. She goes, "He's just so literal." I'm like, "He's Drax." It's like, let me ask you the question that's on your mind, but you're not going to ask it because you're humans and you don't care. But I don't, or you don't want to ask it. I don't care. I'm going to ask you. Why don't you just eat them?
And they both have 4-letter names.
With end and X.
Buddy, it just got deeper. What?
Oh, shit.
Damn, buddy. You can hear about more of that on the next Just Some Gamers episode, where it's the first game club for Mass Effect. Check it out.
There we go.
Should be a good time. Well, thank you all so much for throwing in questions. We had some solid ones. I'm glad 90% of them were about lawyering in the space, because that's what this man does.
Pretty much.
And it really lets us know the scope of his power, his reach as a lawyer, and the plethora of cases he can take on. And in case something comes up for you, you know who to call.
Unless it involves anal beads, do not call me.
Yeah. Cheating in chess with anal beads, we don't handle that.
Nope.
No. Now, what if it's like a tentacle dildo?
Oh, we're all over that.
Okay, good. Perfect.
That's our wheelhouse, and also a house on Neptune that we frequent all the time.
Well, before we get out of here, I want you to know that I did officially just change Cheesy's nickname in the Discord to Lazz's Fashion Nemesis. So,
ooh,
yeah. So he will not understand why this is until he listens to the episode. So there we go.
That's gonna be great.
I need some more photos. I need you guys to go head to head again because I miss it so.
Oh man, I've got to post. I got to look through my phone. I probably have a bunch on there.
Just blast like everything you have in that. I went outside.
Oh yeah, where is it? Let's see.
Just overwhelm that channel with pictures of you and your fits.
What? I open up the channel. The first thing that pops up is from Bill Nye's Bow Tie, and it's the German's face melting from Indiana Jones. I'm like, oh, what? I know it's hot outside.
Now I got to scroll up to see how long ago that was posted.
July 3rd, I think.
Yes, it's been a minute. It checks out. Well, yeah, Lazzy Poo, dude.
Yep.
Thank you for doing this episode, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I got to know you better. The community got to know you better. And any time with you is a good time.
I would agree with that 100%.
And I don't think, because we've been on quite a few podcasts together with other people. We've definitely done some raids. We've definitely done some things together. But I don't think we've ever been one-on-one before, man. This was nice.
Yeah, I think we've been on a couple episodes of Just Some Gamers. We were on the Blueberry Lounge for the court case, and then there's probably a smattering of other, like Guardian Downcast. I think you've
Probably
We've probably been,
did like a barely ADS together at some point.
barely ADS.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
Potatoes and yeah.
Oh yeah, potatoes. That's right. Those damn potatoes. I knew they were going to come up at some point. I mentioned
Those damn
Idaho
thumbs.
potatoes earlier. Yeah, the thumbs.
Had to come up, man.
Damn it.
Well, if people want to find you, brother, where can they do so? So they know how to reach you for all their space lawyery needs.
This is very true. So if you're interested in my space lawyer services, I'm in pretty much every Discord you're probably involved in, or at least
Facts.
I get notifications of. Yep. If you're interested in my golf shenanigans and fashion attire, simply look up on Instagram as far as the eye can see with it's annoying because it's the way they designed it this way, underscores as spaces between every word. It's a pain in the ass. But I post on there all the time with the golf related stuff if you're interested in following the sports side of it. Otherwise, I'm not on anything else social media wise right now, and not Twitch lately, but we'll see.
Yeah, when are you going to stream Mega Man again? I really enjoyed watching those.
Oh, I forgot about that. You know, the kids were asking me the other day about Mega Man because I was wearing a Mega Man shirt. I might have to like get them started on it so they can understand the frustration of trying to play those games.
I really enjoyed watching those, man.
That was it, man. You really do have a better memory than I do. That was ages ago, I think.
Well, the key is I care.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, I am a freak like that. My memory is weird. So I don't remember important things, but I remember that you streamed Mega Man 4 years ago. You know what I mean?
When's your wife's birthday? I have no idea. You streamed Mega Man like 5 years ago. Yeah. Like, cool.
No idea, but I know JC Jesse's podcast 4 names ago. Yeah.
4 names ago. Oh,
exactly. I will make sure, send me all the links you want posted because I will I will add those all in the show notes. I don't know if you listen or not, but at the end of every episode, so the beginning of the episode, I will make up whatever nonsense will be the intro for the show, right?
Absolutely.
You have to decide how we're going to end the show. Okay. Is it a bit? Is it a song? Is it a beat poem? Is it a quote? Are you going to filibust? I don't know. How do you want to end your episode?
No. I think, a filibust is a good way to end. As a space.
Here we go.
As a space lawyer, I need to step onto my interstellar soapbox, which floats away randomly because space. I sit here, I scroll through my Discord, I look at all of the various shenanigans that all of you people do, and all the spots here, and you just do it blatantly. So many illegal activities all across Discord. You just think, oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, it's not a big deal until I randomly respond to one, and all of a sudden, everyone shuts the hell up. It's like the parent just walked into the room. Because the parent did just walk into the room.
Facts.
Do you guys think you can just get away with this shit? Let me explain something. You can get away with it in your Discord. But let's say somebody in the Blueberry Lounge goes over to Guardian Hub, starts talking the same way they talk in the Blueberry Lounge. Well, listen, you don't know. Guardian Hub might not be into that. I mean, they're into all sorts of weird Doritos and shit in there. Who knows? The Dorito stuff they do in there doesn't tickle my fancy. The tentacles, yes, but not my fancy. And honestly, it's one of those things that you got to think about before you just go and do it. Go and do it.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely, that's the things you've got to think about ahead of time. And the truth of the matter is that not enough people think before they take action. You folks need to understand. Space lawyers. We have to watch all this. I have to read all your shit. Snail mail. Post-it notes. Bell, your post-it notes. Do you write with the hand that your non-dominant hand? What the hell? And why do you post them on your desktop tower? There's a desk in front of you. Put them on your desk. What's the matter with you? And there's not enough drinking. Not enough drinking. You guys need to be drinking more in these podcasts, in these games. Like, you're talking normally, and